Hello, back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today is my Hawkeye spoiler review. Now, if you have clicked this video and have not seen the TV series yet, and still want to see this TV series without any spoilers, I don't know why you clicked this video, when spoiler is clearly in the title. But if you accidentally clicked this video, I'll give you 10 seconds to leave the video, alright? Okay, you have been warned. Without further ado, let's get into the plot. So essentially, we kind of open up with the first Avengers movie, or a little bit before that, like 2012. You have this little girl, our two parents. Their kind of parents are kind of fighting, um, but and the daughter kind of overheard, and they heard the daughter kind of hearing it, and so the father goes up and tells her everything's okay, and this and that, and then the events of New York attacks are happening, and stuff like that, and the mother, we don't know what happened. This is later on, not exactly right this moment. I think there's a few time sequence, a few minutes or something like that. But the father is a different place or whatever, and the mother grabs the daughter, and they kind of go running around the house trying to, while the house is kind of coming apart, attacks. And we there's one moment where there's a big hole in their house, an apartment building, and the girl sees Hawkeye shooting arrows, and this is what inspires to like arrows. And if you're not understand who this girl is yet, well, this is Kate Bishop. Hawkeye is kind of the next Hawkeye, if you will, and that's kind of what's going on here. And then we get a time jump where now this girl is older. She's kind of with her friends, and they're trying to. She's going to use her bow and arrows to shoot. Try to get a old bell and an old building, a building, to go off by hitting an arrow with it, and she manages to do it. But because it's so old, the bell actually fell off and pretty much wrecked the entire top of the building. And so she got in trouble for it, obviously. And I don't know, I can't remember if she got expelled from school or something because there's some connection. But yeah, she is in a huge amount of trouble for that. But that's kind of the main point. Now, there's later on, they go to we get to meet her mother. I forgot the moment. Actually, before this happened where she's older, we actually get to see a funeral a little bit before her father, because her father apparently got killed in the attack of New York. I forgot about that, but from the first Avengers, I forgot about that moment. So it's really just her and her mother, and now the mother has a new fiance, and the whole bit about the girl not really liking him and everything like that, and but after that, they kind of go to a party where we get to see some of the other family members of Kate Bishop's mother's fiance. And so that's kind of what's going on there, including the fiance's dad and everything. And during this party, I also found out there's kind of trouble between Kate Bishop's mother and her fiance's father, and there's something going on there that Kate Bishop overheard. But then there was an auction going on with down the basement that kind of Kate Bishop gets sneaked into, and part of this auction down there bidding is obviously Kate Bishop's mother's fiance, and then the fiance's father, and a bunch of other people. But then they kind of offered the Ronin sword, which Kate Bishop's mother's fiance, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. That's what I'm going to have to keep saying. It might get really annoying because I keep saying that. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, unfortunately. But he likes swords. So obviously he gets the Ronin sword. But the suit, when trying to go for the suit, the Ronin suit, they never really explain how it got there. These two things got here in the first place, but that's kind of what's being auctioning. And That's when this people attack the building, and it turns out to be the tracksuit gang. Really weird name. As it's actually from the comic books. It's actually a thing. There's an actual thing in the Marvel comics called the tracksuit gang. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, and Kate Bishop actually it gets the Ronin suit and starts beating them all up and kind of escapes. Now Hawkeye, we get to see Hawkeye and he beforehand he's with his family, kind of doing stuff through New York, and they went to see a play on the Avengers. Yes, a play about the Avengers and a musical play at that. Yes, a musical play, and it's just kind of it's all kinds of weird and really cringy. I can't. I okay, but whatever. But that's besides the point. But they're at a hotel and he sees his suit Ronin with in battle sequences of what's going on here, and he tells that his family to go home. He promised to be here before Christmas, and he needs to go back to work. And so he goes off, finds Kate Bishop's Ronan, kind of saves her because she's kind of in a bad situation with the tracksuit gang, and then they go back to her house. But then the tracksuit gang show up there too, and they had to go find out another hiding place. Um, and then eventually they kind of go on a mission to stop the tracksuit gang. We get introduced to Echo, who is deaf. She's a really fine capability, and she hates Ronan because Ronan killed her father, and all this the kind of sequences there. But he pretty much most of the show is about fighting off Echo and the tracksuit gang. Eventually, they do get captured at one point, but they are also able to escape too. And also, apparently, Hawkeye has a hearing aid because I guess throughout the battles he's been in, his kind of really damaged his hearing. But yeah, so he has a hearing aid for that. So it's kind of that kind of interesting moments there for that. But then, let's see what else is there. So eventually, they try to say that the fiance is in part of this because at one point, Kate Bishop found the father of Kate Bishop's mother's fiance. The father of him was killed by a sword, and so they assumed that it was his son that killed him. And they got some evidence and whatever, and with the help of convincing of Kate Bishop's mother, they he basically gets arrested, but there's no actual evidence, so he was actually able to get out. And it all turns out that Kate Bishop's mother is actually the real villain here, or not the true villain, but is actually working for the Kingpin. And that's right, they got back Vincent uh, from the Marvel Netflix shows to come back to play the character. And he's been playing all the strings, and right now he's losing, and he's trying to get back everything that he's been kind of losing throughout. And in the middle of this kind of battle sequence, especially in one battle sequence against Echo, um, uh, Lena Belova, is that what's her name? Lena Belova? Shows up because she's on a mission to kill Hawkeye because, well, first she's hired to do so, and because it's kind of a revenge because she thinks Hawkeye is the reason for her sister's death. And there's kind of a funny moment when Kate Bishop comes back to her apartment that Elena is there, and they kind of have this talk there, and they kind of talk and stuff, and it was kind of really interesting there. But then she leaves, and then the kind of the final battle sequence is during Times Square and Christmas in the building. There's another party between family members, and kind of both parts show up. The tracksuit gang, Kingpin's people, Elena Belova shows up, and it turns out Elena Belova is actually hired by Kate Bishop's mother to kill Hawkeye, which is kind of interesting because in Black Widow, it was actually Val that hired her, so maybe Val through the Kingpin or something. I don't know. They need to fix something up there, but that's kind of what's been going on. See what else is there. But yeah, huge battle sequences. First, the kind of part is ruined the tracksuit gang, so both Hawkeye and everyone trying to beat up the tracksuit gang and everything. Oh, and I forgot to mention because Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye. Echo found out that there's actually a battle sequence, I remember correctly, that basically in the Ronin costume, Hawkeye beats up Echo and tells Echo the truth that he was hired, and he hired to kill her father. And it turns out to be Kingpin, and this is why she betrays Kingpin. If I recall, she kind of leaves the tracksuit gang, and that's kind of the end point is just the tracksuit gang, kind of being running by the second in command guy, who's actually right under the Kingpin, instead of just Echo. And that's how. So the Kingpin is using the tracksuit gang to fight off, try to take down the both new Hawkeyes, Kate Bishop and the other Hawkeye, and Clint Barton. That's right. Take down Clint Barton. And basically and then also helped the Kate Bishop's mother's fiance, although I think they're broken. I don't know, whatever. He kind of joins in the battle with his sword capabilities, so that's kind of an interesting part. And also people helping out in the battle are these kind of, I don't know, these cosplay fighter event people. I don't know what you really call them. I don't even know. I can't remember the games they go and fight for their cosplay and stuff. But they kind of join Hawkeye and Kate Bishop in battle too, which is kind of interesting. Because they were in the show and earlier for just about one porn sequence. For like not a porn sequence, but a kind of brief sequence. But the show kind of brings them all back into it and actually puts them into the plot more, which I think was kind of an interesting idea, actually, trying to bring in all the different details. But yeah, then basically there's during the battle, so you had Kate Bishop versus Elena, and then Clint Barton fighting off the other ones. But it kind of switched where Elena Belova fights Clint Barton, and Kate Bishop goes and finds her mother, and then where the Kingpin shows up and tries to kill her because she wanted to leave, and he wasn't happy with that. He wants and then there's a huge battle sequence between Kate Bishop and the Kingpin, she actually won barely, but she actually won, beat the Kingpin. Not that he was killed or anything like that. But then Kate Bishop has her mother arrested because the police show up, and then she goes off, and then the battle between Elena and Clint Barton kind of gets fixed, where basically Clint Barton tells her the truth. It a hard time for her to believe right away, but eventually she gave in and realized that Clint Barton was telling the truth, and then she kind of she leaves. And then Kate Bishop and Clint Barton come back together and stuff like that. So there's kind of that moment there. That's pretty much everything and then the last bit is the Kingpin escaping, and then he gets confronted by Echo, and it looks like Echo shot him in the head at the end of and that's kind of where that's part where it ends. And the last part is that Clint Barton and Kate Bishop go to his home, wherever, I can't remember exactly where it was, but they kind of go back, and so he makes it to Christmas Day like he promised, and so Kate Bishop, I guess, just hangs out with his family, which is, I think, an interesting moment there. And that's pretty much it. Now, Kingpin is not killed, guys. Come on, they're not going to kill Kingpin like that. No. There's actually a comic book storyline where Echo actually just did that, shot Kingpin in the head. But he lived, but he was blind. So I think that's the route where they're going. They're even making a TV show on Echo herself. So that's going to be interesting to see what that's about. But yeah, that's kind of everything. And then pretty much most of the tracksuit game gets killed. At least the second in command guy gets killed. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything with the story, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. But before I do that, but my overall thoughts, guys. I loved the story. It was really good. I liked all the characters, like the dynamic between Kate Bishop and Clint Barton. I think that was really well done. In the moments between Kate Bishop and Elena, I think were really cool. I really liked their dynamic as well, and it's interesting trying to, and actually Hawkeye speaking through Black Widow to speak to her sister. I think that was kind of an interesting ending point to their kind of fight at the end there. I'm definitely interesting, to see what they do with Echo and what happened to Kingpin. But overall, I like the story and I like the characters, and I have to say, I think this is by far the best Marvel Disney Plus series. By far, I just it's not. It's funny. It's a lot of fun. And I think it's definitely one of the best so far. There's nothing really much else to say on that. But yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you're new, subscribe and the notification bell so you're notified for the next upload. My YouTube channel, website link, my Twitter, my Snapchat, and Instagram are all in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.